The wedding of the year, the other wedding of the year.
I want to thank my wife, Blake.
With this ring,
I do wed.
and I love you.
And I love you.
We wish all of the couples who got married in Europe this weekend nothing but the best.
Part of being a celebrity means sacrificing privacy in some areas of your life.
But people have to also understand I'm still a human.
But there are some stars who were determined to keep their weddings as private as possible. Even some over-the-top stars like Kim Kardashian opted to keep their nuptials private.
I just see our life becoming more and more and more like The Incredibles until we can finally fly.
We'll take you inside some of the loveliest top-secret celebrity weddings to ever take place. Learn which celebs decided to forego traditional wedding dresses and who prioritized music over all else. Plus, we'll reveal which low-key celeb couple chose to get married in an ultra-romantic film destination. Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas.
You just got married.
I did!
When it comes to her relationship with her husband, Joe Jonas, Sophie Turner prefers to keep things on the down low. In fact, she admits her wedding in Vegas was supposed to be low-key, but little did she know Diplo would end up recording it for social media.
Because that's right.
The couple liked getting married so much they did it again, but their second affair was a bit more elegant. Sophie and Joe spent a beautiful day together with their families in Sarrion, France for a more traditional wedding with no Elvis impersonators. Several Game of Thrones alum were in attendance, including Kit Harington, Rose Leslie, and Maisie Williams, who reprised her role as maid of honor. Sources claim that unlike their first wedding, this one was much more traditional and elegant. Zoe Kravitz and Karl Glusman. Surprisingly, Sophie and Joe weren't the only celeb couple to have a lavish second wedding in France in 2019. Zoe Kravitz and Karl Glusman have been together since 2016 and reportedly tied the knot in a civil ceremony prior to their formal celebration. According to Zoe, Karl had proposed at home by candlelight while the couple stayed comfy in their sweatpants. Although this was a perfect proposal, they decided to have an official ceremony that was a little bit fancier. They gathered at the home of Zoe's famous father, Lenny Kravitz, for a day sources describe as incredibly emotional. Apparently, Zoe's dad Lenny and stepdad Jason Momoa bonded over the happy occasion and their approval of Zoe's new husband. In addition to her family, Zoe's co-stars were in attendance as well, including Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, Laura Dern, and Shailene Woodley. Margot Robbie and Tom Ackerley. Some celebrities spend massive amounts of money on over-the-top wedding celebrations, and honestly, it's hard to blame them. If you've got the money for it, why not spend it making your big day as perfect as possible? But when Margot Robbie married Tom Ackerley back in 2016, her wedding was surprisingly low-key. This private affair took place on a private property located in Byron Bay, a beachside town in North-South Wales, Australia. Margot wore a gorgeous cream-colored lace wedding dress and ditched a traditional veil for a more natural hairstyle. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Considering that tons of people are obsessed with keeping up with the Kardashians, fans were shocked by the wedding of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. No, they weren't surprised that it was an exceptionally lavish ceremony in Florence, Italy, surrounded by stars like Chrissy Teigen, John Legend, Jaden Smith, and Serena Williams. Nor were they shocked to learn the wedding reportedly cost about $2.8 million. Hey, giant flower walls aren't cheap. What really surprised people was the fact that the wedding wasn't televised for Kim's reality show. Although the before and after were taped, the couple opted to keep their ceremony private, and even guests were asked not to take photos. Kanye is a more private person than Kim, and this was one thing he insisted on for their special day. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are two huge stars who did their absolute best to keep their relationship on the down low for as long as possible. They met on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith while Brad was still married to fellow actress Jennifer Aniston. After the couple divorced, Brad and Angelina went public with their relationship, although they claimed not to be in a rush to get married. According to Angelina, their kids eventually made it clear they wanted their parents to marry, and the couple agreed. They had a small official ceremony in California with only 22 family members in attendance, including their kids. Then they had a much more elaborate yet private ceremony at their estate in France. Angelina wore a lovely Luigi Massi for Versace dress which incorporated drawings done by her children sewn into the fabric. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. We all know Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are total relationship goals and that they prefer to keep their private lives, well, private. So it's no surprise that they were hush-hush when they tied the knot at one of the most romantic locations possible. The happy couple wed at the historic Boone Hall Plantation located in South Carolina. Even if you're not a history buff, this location might be familiar to you since it's heavily featured in the romantic movie The Notebook.
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Blake's good friend Florence Welch from the band Florence and the Machine even performed during the wedding reception. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. When Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel married in 2012, they spared no expense to ensure they got the private wedding ceremony of their dreams. They invited their guests to a week-long celebration in Puglia, Italy. They gathered at the glamorous Borgo Egnazia Resort, a luxury hotel which was able to provide them the privacy and security they needed. Nobody wants the paparazzi crashing their wedding. Instead of a traditional white dress, Jessica opted for a pink, custom-made Giambattista Valli haute couture gown. Her veil was no less spectacular and featured many of Jessica's own heirloom pearls incorporated into its design. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. John Legend almost had his surprise proposal ruined by a rather mundane source. TSA agents nearly revealed the ring he had packed in the luggage, but thankfully they ended up letting him pass without showing the ring to Chrissy Teigen. When it came to their wedding ceremony, the couple took no chances that anything would spoil their gorgeous and private ceremony. They returned to beautiful Lake Como, Italy, a place where they had vacationed to in the past and where they first fell in love with one another. The couple was surrounded by their loved ones on their wedding day, including fellow celeb couple Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. John sang All of Me to Chrissy and his guests, and Stevie Wonder performed Ribbons in the Sky. When it was time to get down on the dance floor, guests boogied to DJ Biz Markie. Beautiful bride Chrissy couldn't decide what to wear, so she rocked not one, but 3 different Vera Wang gowns over the course of the wedding. Adam Levine and Beate Prinsloo. According to Beate Prinsloo, she and Adam Levine pretty much fell in love at first sight. They felt like they had known each other all of their lives and wanted their big day to be as special as it was secret. The two had a brief 20-minute long ceremony officiated by fellow celeb Jonah Hill. It took place at Flora Farms in Los Cabos, Mexico, surrounded by mango trees and tons of lovely white lights and flower garlands. But just because the paparazzi weren't around doesn't mean it was a small wedding. 275 guests were in attendance, including supermodels like Erin Heatherton, Candice Swanepoel, and Coco Rocha. There was tons of live music from performers like Sublime, Stevie Nicks, and of course Maroon 5. Even Beate stepped up to sing the song First Day of My Life to her new husband. Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger. There are many people out there who don't want a traditional wedding, but we applaud those who put personal touches on their big days. But to say the wedding of Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger was a little bit unorthodox is putting it mildly. The two got married in France, and while Avril wore a white dress and flower crown for the rehearsal dinner, she switched it up for the big day. She wore a strapless black gown, a black veil, and even carried a black bouquet. During the first wedding to Derek Whibley in 2006, Avril claimed she felt pressured to wear a more traditional wedding dress. Although she got to wear the dress of her dreams this time around, this marriage didn't end up working out either. After 2 years of marriage, Avril and Chad got divorced. George Clooney and Amal Alamuddin. Although he had been married once before, many people considered actor George Clooney to be a perpetual bachelor, at least before he met Amal Alamuddin. The two got engaged in April of 2014 and married a few months later in September. They were married in Venice, Italy by George's friend and former mayor of Rome, Walter Veltroni. There was no shortage of celebs in attendance, including John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, and Matt Damon. Instead of walking or driving through the streets, the happy couple and their guests opted to get around via boats. Although crowds gathered to see them, the wedding ceremony was kept private. Amal wore a beautiful Oscar de la Renta gown made from delicate French lace and embroidered with pearls. JayZ and Beyonce. Superstars JayZ and Beyonce kept their wedding so quiet that many people weren't even sure they were married. This often over-the-top couple kept things small by ditching wedding parties, limiting their guest list to 40 people, and hosting the event in JayZ's New York City penthouse. No phones were allowed, but some sources claimed the wedding was incredibly emotional. It may have been a tearjerker, but it was also a ton of fun, with guests partying until 5 a.m. the next morning. Beyonce did indulge when it came to flowers and had 70,000 of her favorite white dendrobium orchids flown in from Thailand. Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. Even if you're not throwing a celebrity caliber bash, weddings can take a ton of time to plan and execute. But Patriots star Tom Brady and his supermodel wife Gisele Bündchen managed to throw together their wedding in a mere 10 days. As if we needed another reason to be impressed by this incredible couple. Their wedding was small and attended by only 20 guests. They did host a second ceremony on the beach in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica a mere 2 months later with 25 guests this time. Other than a few sweet throwback photos, it seems like Tom and Gisele are determined to keep the details of their nuptials private even after all this time. Anne Hathaway and Adam Shulman. Actress Anne Hathaway has a reputation for being down to earth, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to have a fairy tale wedding. When she married Adam Shulman, she opted for a custom Valentino gown featuring an elaborate veil and a long train. Instead of overdoing it on jewelry, this bride chose a simple 1920s inspired headband for her big day. The couple provided an all-vegan menu featuring local and sustainable food, and enjoyed music by the jazz trio Americano Social Club, Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz. Alicia Keys met her now husband Swizz Beatz when the two of them were only teenagers. However, they didn't start a romantic relationship until much later in their lives, and Swizz Beatz ended up proposing one day before Alicia's 29th birthday. On her wedding day, Alicia was pregnant with her first son, Egypt, and the couple exchanged vows in Corsica on the Mediterranean Sea. Their ceremony was conducted by Dr. Deepak Chopra, and many celebrity guests were in attendance, including Queen Latifah and Bono. When it comes to having a successful marriage, this couple knows it's not about material things. Alicia claims the most important aspect of their relationship is simply being present, prioritizing your partner, and learning to communicate. What do you think about these celebrities who had private destination weddings? Do you think it's a waste not to have a lavish, over-the-top, publicized wedding, or would you prefer a more intimate ceremony? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section, and then click on the subscribe button for more great videos from the taco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.